Let me first start with Kazim Rizvi. Kazim, your time, 1 minute starts now. Go ahead.
Thanks, Vishnu. So I think there are three things which I want to highlight. One is that the state has legitimate need and interest to protect the security of the people. So definitely there is a need to regulate technology and technology companies in India. But in order to regulate big tech, are we hurting the rights of people? Are we sort of taking the rights away from the people? And that's the biggest question we have to identify today. There are three main points which I want to highlight. One is that looking at the intermediary platforms on traceability, digital signature would mean that end-to-end encryption has to be broken, and that could lead to severe security challenges for the country. Number two is that when it comes to social media verification, we are also looking at the fact that there could be discrimination for users who may not be verified. So anonymity on the internet could be under threat. And number three is that a couple of good things which of course are coming in, of course, is the fact that for CSAM, the government is saying that you should proactively monitor, and platforms are doing that. That's a good positive thing, but maybe that could have been a policy rather than a rule-making process.
Okay, I'll interrupt you there. You've gone through two of the 3 points. We'll come to the rest later. Menaka, 1 minute, your introductory comments. Your time starts now. Go ahead.
Well, I think these new rules greatly impinge on freedom of speech, expression, privacy, conscience, amongst other things. They will impact artistic freedom. They will impact freedom of press. So really, we have to be thoughtful about these new rules going forward.
Shreya Singhal, 1 minute you've got. Go ahead with your first opening comments in the first punch. Right now, go ahead.
These rules, I completely agree with what Ms. Guruswamy said, and I just want to add that it's not just the intermediaries or the platforms that we use where this information is published, but it goes back to the person itself, and that puts a big dent on how freely a person may speak over the internet, which has been a means and a medium which has facilitated speech, has facilitated dissent. So this will greatly impact that, and the fact that they put this entire stringent due diligence clause into these rules is in fact it's worrying. And everything is covered under Article 19(2), so you don't need more to regulate speech and expression.
All right. Tuhin Sinha, your first comments. The topic once again for our viewers: do the sweeping regulations on digital media challenge privacy and the freedom of expression? Tuhin, your time starts now.
Well, the vast increase in social media consumption in the last few years had also brought it to a position where it was a potential behemoth waiting to explode and a potential facilitator of a whole lot of unlawful activities. This is where the regulations were necessary, and I'm so glad that the regulations are the most, the soft touch regulatory mechanism puts the onus to a large extent on these intermediaries rather than on the government. So issues like mandating a chief compliance officer, self-certification are wonderful and exceptional steps which would set a precedent for many other countries which have been struggling with digital media regulation, and India would provide a certain model which the world has been struggling for. At the same time, these regulations would ensure that there is a level playing field between new starters and a Facebook or an Instagram which have crores and crores of followers. So I think it is one of the most balanced approach which one could have seen insofar as regulating OTTs were concerned.
All right, Abhishek Tripathi, the first punch, your first views. 1 minute, your time starts now.
I wholeheartedly welcome this move by the government of India and the in-charge ministry. I think it was much needed and long awaited. I don't understand why there is a complaint, if at all there is. Like I said before, and I'll also go talk more about the OTT platform. I belong to the fraternity. So the 3-tier mechanism to enforce the code of ethics for OTT, like the first one is the self-regulating system. We'll ask the platform to establish a grievance redressal mechanism. Then comes the self-regulatory body, which will be headed by a retired Supreme Court or a High Court judge. An appeal can be referred to this body if a person believes that their complaint has not been addressed. And then comes the oversight mechanism by the government. will develop an interministerial committee to ensure there's a code of conduct being followed. So I think it's a very, very important, like I said, much awaited, and it'll make a whole lot of difference in the communication digitally.
Mayank Tiwari joins us as well. Mayank, the topic is, do the sweeping regulations on digital media challenge privacy and the freedom of expression? This is called the first punch. You have 1 minute for your introductory remarks. After that, I'll interrupt. So your time starts now. Go ahead.
Thank you. Vishnu, at the outset, I would like to say that this is an incitement to outrage. It does not matter what is the complaint. It does not matter who is complaining, how many complaints are there. Fundamentally, that is the issue, point number one, which I would like to outset say. Second is that beyond all of these structures of rules, something very fundamental has happened. The government now has the authority to block what it likes after a certain level has been reached, be it the OTT platforms or be it the intermediaries. In the past, Twitter had the power to block somebody. The government did not have that power. Something on Amazon Prime the government does not like, they could not block it. But now with these regulations, that power has come to them. The system is going to get overwhelmed with complaints, and we are actually celebrating outrage if we see the context and the timing of this move.